My next video is going to be a Q&A video, so if you've got any questions, just comment it down below with Q&A in front of it and I'll probably put you in the video. You can also go to my community wall and comment your question on my Q&A post, or you could just @ me on Twitter and Instagram. Either way, if you've got a question you really want to ask, then just make sure to do it. That video will be out in a few days. But in this video, I just wanted to ask the only question we've really got for Season 10, and it's, how will Michonne leave the show? I've covered most of the questions that we'd be asking in Season 10, but apart from just touching on Michonne in my Rick Grimes videos, we haven't really spoke about how it's going to happen, and now we're so close to it, we can start picking up things from pictures and really deciding and making a final prediction for it. And of course, we did get 50 new pictures for Season 10. Now, I'd hate to make a video just about pictures that we get. I'd normally just put them on my community wall or just retweet them or something. But as in this video, we did have the plan of talking about how Michonne will leave. I think we can look at these pictures. The majority of these pictures that we see of Michonne in Season 10 is her in a fiery forest, and we actually see many other characters in this kind of setting. And bearing in mind, the Whisperers don't just have one territory or base. It's likely this is either a plan that the survivors have done and it's backfired, or the Whisperers have trapped them. Of course, Angela Kang did say fire would really be something like an element they'd be messing with this season. We've seen the effects of snow, and she said it's time to see the effects of fire. It's interesting to me how we keep seeing pictures of Michonne in this fiery forest. It's a bit like in the Season 9 trailer, we kept seeing shots, some even hidden shots of the bridge and Rick Grimes. In fact, if you rewatch the Season 9 trailer, every single shot of the bridge, Rick Grimes is on it. And so as we get closer to Season 10, the possibility that Michonne doesn't leave by choice is becoming more likely to me. Of course, I just normally thought she would go off on a boat. But maybe that's too predictable, too obvious and easy. We also see pictures of Judith and RJ. Now, I'm not interested in these characters at all. In fact, they kind of annoy me a bit, but I'm going to talk about them because it's heavily to do with Michonne. Why would Michonne leave and not take her 2 kids? This was just announced as Michonne leaving. It's not like with Maggie when she just left off screen with her kid. Michonne is said to be leaving the show alone. Likely not with even the intention to come back as quick as Maggie. So how will Michonne leave? Well, we're also certain that she's just going to sail off on a boat. But what if there's something more to it? What if she doesn't leave on a boat? Then I'm pretty sure it's safe to say she's not going to do it completely by choice. And I think we're going to see the return of Jadis. If when Rick Grimes arrived at the CRM, he fell into a coma from the blood loss, that would explain why he's been gone for so long within the show. But what about Jadis? They can't have both been in this coma for all these years, so why doesn't she want to even come back and even let Michonne know that Rick Grimes is at the CRM? Well, I think after all these years, she will. Unless Jadis is completely against going back and she wants Rick to herself, I think that's the right thing for the character to do. It would make sense. But if Michonne really leaves this main show, she's got to appear in these movies, hasn't she? Why would Michonne just sail off without a sure sign that Rick is still alive? In Season 9, Episode 14, we saw Michonne and Daryl were searching for Rick. For a very long time before the time jump, they were doing that. And we know the characters still deep down believe he's still out there. But there has to be a sure sign, a signal, a guarantee that he's alive if Michonne's really gonna leave. It's looking like Michonne's gonna leave right before or right after the Whisperer War, or even during it. It's so unlikely for Michonne's character to do that. She's such a big leader of these communities and such a big character, but even though she's sticking around longer than Rick did in Season 9, she really will still leave quite early on. And so if she leaves the show with the intention to find Rick, she needs a big lead on that, a guaranteed lead, and I think that's going to be Jadis. Now, I'm not going to base everything I've just said on this one thing, but the actress for Jadis, Pollyanna McIntosh, did say on her Instagram, "I'm in," when she was reposting a Season 10 teaser. Now, you can interpret that any way you want, but you could see it as she's in Season 10. I'm not going to base everything on that, but I really do think Jadis is the only real lead Michonne would have. Unless Eugene hears something through the radio, but then again, that's the Commonwealth arc. We've pretty much figured out that they're separate entities. It doesn't make sense. So in terms of Michonne leaving the show voluntarily, leaving all these characters and communities behind, there has to be a real reason, and I think that could be Jadis. Unless she just says she's had enough and she goes out on a boat, but that's just so unlike the character, and I don't think I'd be happy with that. Purely because it's so predictable. I don't really want the character to die, but surely if Michonne's gonna leave, it's for Rick Grimes. If The Walking Dead has to get rid of another big character, then the safest path would really be to go and have that character go and find the main character of the show. And of course, there is the other possibility that Michonne leaves forcefully. That doesn't necessarily mean in a bad way, but in the way that Rick Grimes left. He had no choice, he was just taken because he had to be. They keep showing us these pictures of Michonne in this fiery blaze. If she gets injured, if she makes a similar sacrifice to what Rick Grimes did, what are the odds that she gets picked up by the exact same helicopter or the exact same group? I think it's so likely. Of course, we saw Michonne in almost the exact same attire as she had in the comics when that character left on a boat. Whatever that shot is, I mean, we go by now, she's either killing Gamma or giving Lucille to Negan. That could even be a flashback scene, which said to get loads of them in Season 10. Whatever this is, I think this is what she's going to wear when she leaves the show, and if she really does sail off to find Rick Grimes, I think it's likely we'll even get a time jump only for Michonne, where she gets taken by the CRM or maybe even finds them. And then we'll only find out in the first Rick Grimes movie what happens to her and what happens next. But that's just what I think. What do you think? On the top right of your screen, you're going to see an eye icon. Just click or tap on that and you can vote in the poll. Do you think these are the ways Michonne will leave? And if so, how? Which one do you think is more likely than the other? Do you think she'll leave in a completely different way to what I've mentioned already? Do you think Jadis will have anything to do with it? Will Eugene hear something through the radio about Rick? What guaranteed lead do you think Michonne will have, if any? Make sure to let me know, and of course, don't just vote in the poll, make sure to comment down below what you think. I genuinely really want to hear what you think on this. I'm really interested in seeing how Michonne will leave and if it will work or not. I don't think I'll be completely happy if she just randomly sailed off on a boat and left the communities behind. I'm not even a massive fan of Michonne's character, but I think her fate is massively connected to Rick Grimes, and when I say fate, I don't mean death, I mean actual fate in this show. It's likely Michonne and Rick will actually never return to the show. I mean, of course they said it's their final season, but this really is it for these characters, and it makes me worry for the main show that there's so many loose ends, and that's just for the main show. There's almost 3 shows in this universe, and all these big characters from the original show are going, and it is worrying what we're going to be left with. That's why I didn't really enjoy Season 9 as much as I could have, and I don't think I'm going to like Season 10 as much as I should really, because there's so many loose ends, and they expect us to really care about these new characters, and it just becomes frustrating. Like, it's fine, if this show is really going to go on without Rick Grimes, it can do that, it's shown it can do that. But to have Michonne go as well, and Maggie, 3 of the main cast are gone. These new characters aren't going to replace them. The main characters that were in it for years didn't have a death. They're gone, they're just loose ends. We're hearing about them through teasers. And that third The Walking Dead show, I'm not interested in that at all. I mean, I'm not saying you can't, you're allowed to like it. But I'm telling you right now, I hate it already. Fear the Walking Dead is a mistake. And that's not me just sitting here, not even watching it and saying it's bad. I've actually tried to sit through it, it's boring. I don't give a shit about Althea's tapes, I care about the CRM and Rick Grimes, the character who's been in it for years. I don't care about all this. Why have all these characters adopted Morgan's philosophy? Morgan's done bad stuff in the past, and he's helping people to make up for it. Why is Alicia doing that now? What has she done that's that bad to be following little kids around in treehouses? Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to press the like button. It actually helps me and supports the video and gets it seen. And if you did enjoy, make sure to check out my other videos that are similar to this one. In my latest video, we talk about the fate of Rick Grimes, and we figure out, using scenes we've already got and information we've already found, what will happen to Rick Grimes in the Rick Grimes movies, and if he will ever really return to the main show, but more importantly, if he will die. I don't really care what Scott Gimple has said, he's lying. I think it's possible Rick Grimes really could die. And I've also got a video talking about Ezekiel's death being teased in the latest Season 10 teaser. It was actually heavily foreshadowed and it's quite harrowing, it's quite sinister. The teaser showed he could get one of the most violent and horrific deaths that the Walking Dead comics has ever seen. So if you want to see what I think about that, make sure to go and check that one out. You can find out all about it. And lastly, if you want to see my official Season 10 death predictions, like who I actually think is going to die this season, then make sure to go and check that video out. We talk about every single character I think it could be, and it's a good list of characters that I genuinely think are going to get it. So if you're looking forward to Season 10, make sure to go and check that one out. And that's the video. Now, my Q&A video should be out in a few days, but it might take a little bit longer because I'm just trying to really innovate things. It's a really new, completely new format. And from that Q&A video, when it comes out, I think I'm going to stick to it. I'm just going to completely make my videos better, less generic, and more to what I came to YouTube to do. But of course, just send me your questions and I'll make sure to make a big video for it. It should be a really good change. I was meant to experiment a lot in September, but it just hasn't really gone that much to plan. But this video should be a really, really good change, and it should make my videos for all of October with The Walking Dead coming back much better, so just look out for that. Especially with El Camino coming out so soon. It's good timing. Make sure to subscribe so that you are the first to hear about The Walking Dead. Thanks for watching, I'll see you soon.